congratulations on your film. Congratulations on making so many people gag and throw up in the cinema.
Thank you. There's not that many that has thrown up. I think it's one, but gagging. That's
I
happening.
had to kind of really stop and take a breath at some of the scenes. And I love horror. I'm usually like hardened. So was that your main drive to make people have such a visceral reaction, such a physical reaction to your film?
I think that's the fun with body horror, no? If you don't have a physical reaction to it, then the body horror is not working. I think really the insane, exhilarating experience with body horror for me is that I link the character's body to my own, and so I can feel their pain or they're in my own body, and I think that's a beautiful thing of empathy and sympathy that you can have between people, and a great way to like quite literally put you in her shoes, in Elvira's shoes. Yeah.
I was curious, what was kind of the starting point? Was it always going to be a fairy tale, or did you just start more with this element of criticizing the way women are still valued for the physical appearance?
That has been my theme for a long time. Through my shorts, I've worked with different types of characters, women who has struggled to fit within the beauty ideals for different reasons. For my exam thesis at the Norwegian Film School, I was working with a character who's 2 meters tall and has a gorgeous lush body. And in a creative nap working with her, I suddenly envisioned her as Cinderella and fitting the shoe perfectly to her, and my surprise, and the prince lift her up on the horse like she weighed nothing, all too good to be true, right? And then she rode off with the prince, and she's so happy because she's in love with this guy who's the prince, and then suddenly they both look down and they realize the shoe is full of blood, and she's like, oh no, of course I'm not Cinderella, I'm the stepsister, I've cut off my toes to fit the shoe. And I immediately woke up from my creative nap and thought, that's insane, I suddenly empathized with a character that I before had overlooked, despised, ridiculed. And now I sympathized and empathized with her. I knew how it felt, the shame and the distress I felt myself when I've tried to fit within the beauty ideal and failed, And I knew this is the perfect vessel for my theme. I can speak upon this, and it was a body horror from start, which got me really excited, and I knew it could have a broad appeal to the audience, and it got me really excited. So I say that I didn't choose the stepsister chose me.
And what works so well is also obviously your lead actress. What were you looking for exactly? Because I feel obviously the performance is the most important thing, but it also has to be a believable transition.
Yes.
And it worked so well. How did you find her?
I'm very conscious about representing different types of bodies on screen, and it was quite hard for me not to be able to have like a natural chubby woman or a woman with a characteristic nose to play the part, because these things had to go, and I would never ask a young actress to lose weight, that's hello. That's what my movie's about. But so I needed to choose someone who could come quite close to the beauty ideal, but of today. I didn't want to end up standing on the red carpet with 2 Cinderellas, right? Because it's really important for me that people also that if you love the movie and then you Googled who she was and it's like, huh? It's like Cinderella. But then again, what is beauty? The beauty ideal is something that's ever changing. What was considered beautiful in the 1600s is not what we consider beautiful now. And if you take this to heart, you understand that the beauty ideal is a construct, and what beauty can be so much more than what an industry is trying to tell us and trying to keep us buying products and create these needs in us that are actually not there, because beauty is so much, and why should they define what it is, right? So this was very important for me when I was casting, and with Cinderella I wanted to find this classical beauty, you know, this Grace Kelly, I think she looks like a young Liv Ullmann, something that, like, let's say, our cultural common cultural expectation of what a traditional beauty is. But with Elvira, I hoped to find someone who at least had this otherness about her, right? Who was beautiful, but in a other type of way. And Lea Myhren, who plays her, is just, you know, she has this alien beauty that I really like or admire. And her beauty really also comes from within. Lea is a very, very strong young woman who's grown up with a feminist mother and who has had very little body issues. And I think this is a thing that gives me goosebumps, because I needed a character or a person who was free from the body issue stuff, to be able to do all the physical things, to be funny and weird looking and crazy looking, and she's free in her body. She can be whatever she wants, and it gives me goosebumps, because it's what I hope every girl could be and do. But a lot of us are so constrained by how we think other might perceive us, right? Because we have this gaze we've internalized that we're always like checking ourselves and being imprisoned in that. And I've had that myself, and it took me a long time to come out on the other side. And I think Lea is she's just such an important role model as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned her mother, and how motherhood kind of also plays into that. It's such a pity, obviously, that most of these expectations also come from female figures in our lives. I think many of us can relate to this element as well, that the driving force behind the transition is Elvira's mother.
And I think, you know, we have to forgive them, because they've always also been daughters, right? Ridden by their mothers, or young girls in society where they've been given these values and ideas that this is how they should be women, and this is how women have value and power. And it's very, very hard when you internalize these ideas and integrate them with your identity. And when you then have a daughter, you know, you want her to be able to lead a good life as a woman, and you think that she should do these things so she does not have a bad life, you know, that she can fit in, that she can get a boyfriend, get to work. But also, you know, if you spend hours, you know, or if you don't eat fat, greasy food because you're really afraid of getting fat, how can you allow your daughter, right? Because you don't allow yourself. So I think, you know, we should. Of course, some mothers are worse than others, but even I sympathize also with the stepmother, because I understand where she comes from.
Speaking of looks, the film feels like it's, apart from the horror elements, it really feels part of this East German, Czech fairy tale landscape. You're Norwegian, but it's like a co-production of Scandinavian countries and Poland.
Yes, yes.
So where exactly was it shot? How do these countries tie together in the production and in the look of the film?
In Norway and in Germany, there's a great Christmas tradition of seeing Three Wishes for Cinderella, an amazing film from Czech film from the 70s. And I really wanted to go that route, and because it's such a nice contrast to Disney, which is so glossy and unachievable, right? While that has this gritty, natural feeling to it. And also Brothers Grimm, which was the starting point, has this deep European forest feeling to it, right? And in Norway we have no castles, because Sweden and Denmark took all our money, and until the 80s when we got rich. So we needed to go to Eastern Europe to shoot, and it was just amazing to find these beautiful locations in Poland. And it's a country with such a nice or deep film history and tradition. So we got just such quality on the people that we worked with there. And in Denmark, we found a lot of our head of departments. I'm half Danish. I'm a big fan of Danish cinema. I got to work with legends like Manon Rasmussen, who did all of Lars von Trier's movies. She's 72. I love her. And Olivia Nergård Holm, my editor, she edited The Apprentice by Ali Abbasi. I could go on. And then an amazing cast from Sweden. You know, we understand each other language-wise, and I wanted to give Cinderella this nobility that we don't have in Norway, because you know, you say that Cinderella is like rags to riches, but actually, you know, she's riches and just down to the kitchen for a month and then up to riches again. So I have an amazing cast from Sweden. And yeah, of course, I'm Norwegian, and the main cast is Norwegian. So that's like I guess it's the perfect use of our beautiful co-production system in Europe.
I just briefly wanted to also speak about the modern elements. There are some dance beats in it, but it never feels like it never completely tears you out of the story. Could you just speak a little bit about
that? Yeah, so I wanted to try to avoid anachronisms too much, but the braces, that's not an old thing. But I just thought you just knew that girl, you know, with the braces. When we were in post-production, we felt that because we've used the 70s, you know, also to obscure our time and to give this once upon a time timeless feeling. And also in the music, it's like 70s synths and stuff. And in editing, we just had this feeling, oh my God, are we just making this like pastiche on a 70s movie? And it was hard. You know, the first fantasy scene, when I watched it, I thought, do they, you know, as an audience, I would think, do they understand how kitsch this is? So there was no real presence of me, and I'm a woman of 2025, right? So we decided to put some modern music in there as well and mix it around. And this really creates some dramatic irony where the audience is aware that there's a storyteller there from today that knows what she's doing. So I think they can relax and be taken by the hand and don't be that scared, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.